So my mother and father met in London post-war when they were teenagers. And together they made the first Lotus, and they made amazing road cars, and they made racing cars, often were unbeatable, and they just had an amazing adventure. Team spirit is the most important thing. From the beginning, my mother and father worked together with other very clever people, and they pulled together as a team, as a small team back then. You know, there was 10 of them, and they started achieving incredible things because they were all working towards one goal for each other, working more for their teammates than themselves.
To work with Ayrton was a new experience for me. I'd never met a driver who had the ability to be aware of everything that was around him. So not only he was a very fast driver, but he was also really aware of the things around him. But we knew there was something special with him. He was so determined to win, and the way he conducted himself was amazing.
The 97T, it's a beautiful car. Gérard Ducarouge just had that French flair for design, so the shape is lovely. The colours are world famous, black and gold. You simply cannot beat them. And it has innovation with the vertical deflectors at the front, and also the winglets on the rear of the body, so aerodynamic innovation. And it had lots of power. I mean, the Renault turbo engine then was producing about 1,200 horsepower from 1.5 litres.
And during the testing, the Renault engineers put 4 or 5 more gauges around and said, please have a look when you're driving, tell us if it's working. So he did some laps, and when he stopped in the pits, they'd plug in a radio to speak with him, and they asked him about the gauges, were they working? And it went really quiet. It was probably for 20 seconds he didn't say anything, but it seemed like 2 minutes. And then he said, I only looked at them on the back straight, but this was this one, this was this number, this was the... And he went round the whole thing, so the guys were writing it down. And they checked then with the telemetry, and everything that he said was spot on. I was really fortunate at the end of the race, because he got out and was celebrating, and he took off his gloves in front of me and just dropped them on the floor. So I picked them up, and I still have them now. When I was 25 years old, as a mechanic for Ayrton with this car and the rest of Team Lotus, if I'd said to my colleagues, one day I'm going to drive that car, everyone would have laughed. But the schoolboy dream sometimes coming true, so to drive it was a huge privilege.
So when we were contacted about the project for 1/8 scale, we were excited about that, and we kind of imagined maybe the designers did not really fully appreciate the scale of the challenge, but also we did not really understand it either, because it's taken a long time, and when you're going to that kind of scale and that kind of detail, it really changes the game. For instance, the tyres are exact copies of the actual tyres that were used on the day, and that's the first time we've managed to do that. The detail of the wire on the rear wing, which the mechanics did on the morning of the race, and they actually made them out of 2 pairs of end plates and glued them together and then put the wire on, and it was just done in the pit lane. But to get that detail, you know, really spot on.
This car had all those things put together. Probably one of the best cars we ever made in that era.